Alright guys, so today I want to talk to you about why I regret buying an ARB compressor and what method I'm using to air up my tires now. So originally I went with a ARB single compressor. I had it mounted over there at one point with a custom bracket. Then I moved it over here with this bracket. I have it, they're plastic line, right, you can see right there, and then it's plumbed down through the frame, which comes back to here, and I have it going to a, I believe it's a 2.5 gallon VI or a 3.2 gallon VI air tank. Over here you can see where the line routes into here, and then off of the tank itself you will see I have another steel braided line right there, and that comes up to here to ARB's air chuck fitting right here. And then I had my Flexzilla hose I'd plug into here and then flip the switch in the cab, which let me air up. I don't know if you can see it over there, but anyways, that was working good. It was a little slower than I wanted, and I kind of regretted buying the single and thought maybe I should have gone with the twin. So I started researching a little more. I mean, it would get the job done, but it just wasn't quite as fast as I wanted. So I researched a little more, and I came across some power tanks. And as y'all know, power tanks are pretty expensive in themselves. So then I started looking up how I would make my own power tank. And in this video here, I'm going to explain to you guys what I did to make my own at-home setup, and I think it cost me under $200. So I'll pull this out and we'll get a good look at it. Alright guys, so I pulled my homemade power tank setup out of the bed of the truck where I usually keep it. Where I keep it, it lets me open up that wind door up there, and I can pull the hose out and air all my tires up and not have to worry about removing it usually. But for the sake of the video, I wanted to pull it out to give you guys a closer look at it. So this right here is a tank from ARB Gases. It's an aluminum 10-pound cylinder, and it was, I want to say, $123 to get the tank, and that comes filled. So that's your first purchase where technically you're buying the tank and you're filling it. Well, then after that, luckily where I work, they come, you know, change our welding gas and everything like that. So they come by and they will switch out my tank for $23 anytime I need to, you know, have a new tank. This right here is made by Gentech, and I will link this on Amazon in the description. And it is a fixed 150 psi regulator, and it threads right onto the tank here itself. And then you can put an air chuck fitting right here. I had one on there that was leaking when I went to Colorado, so I took it off and screwed the hose directly into it so it stopped leaking and I wasn't losing CO2. But for my hose, I have a Flexzilla. I believe it is a 12 foot, 8 foot, something like that. It's the same one I use at work, so I love them. They don't kink, easy to coil up, tough. This is a fitting actually off of the Cornwall Tools truck. I don't know exactly who makes it, but it's awesome, never leaks. And then just your ARB manual, not the digital, just the regular air fitting. I like to keep stuff simple, though it always works for me when I need it to. And a big thing, actually why I got this originally, was for the chuck fitting that could clip on there, because it sucked just sitting there waiting for my tire to fill up, but now it's not that big of a deal that I have this set up. As far as speed goes, it is definitely a lot faster. When I was in Colorado, we got off of, I believe, Corkscrew Pass, and it was pouring raining. We were about to head to Moab, and we were aired down quite a bit, and you know, had to put some air in the tires. And if I would have had my compressor, I would have gotten completely soaked. But luckily that I had this, it was super fast. Aired my tires up to a appropriate level for, you know, for road use, and it let me go on and get out of there without being totally soaked. So here I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. So once you have everything hooked up here, I leave this valve shut when it's not in use, because you never know what kind of leaks you could have here. You just want to, you know, keep your tank as full as you can. All you do is open this valve. You'll feel it pressurize, and then from there, just like a regular tire gauge here, I'll show you actually. So let's see, I'm running them at 40, 45 right now. I'll air up to 60 just to show you. Alright, so as you guys see, that was relatively fast. I work at a shop and I'm used to shop air and how fast shop air is, so I guess that's kind of why that ARB compressor was not quite doing it for me. As you can see, once you air up all your tires, you'll come across that this thing will be cold. Well, I mean, CO2 makes it cold. And that's where I would also go to say that those little flexible hoses, I would not recommend getting those. I recommend getting a nice thick hose. Yes, it's going to take up more space when it's coiled up, but also it's not going to freeze right here and make you think that it's going to be brittle. As you can see, it gets super cold just from that little bit. Now we're just adding 15 psi to a tire. So that's definitely something I would recommend with this setup if you're going to go with it. As far as mounting this goes in your vehicle, you could secure it somewhere in the cab if you'd like, or I wanted it back here just so it was accessible and I didn't have to remove it for anything. What I'm using is actually 2 super quick fists. You can actually go on Amazon and buy a pack. It comes with the two big ones, I think 4 of the regular sized ones, and then 2 small flashlight ones. Anyways, it's a great kit. It's only like 18 bucks, and it's easy to kind of fab up your own little mount for it. Obviously, I had this wood platform that I made for storing my boxes and toolbox under there on trips and keep water port and other things on top. So it was ideal to just add a piece of wood and screw the quick fist to that to mount it to there, and it's working out absolutely awesome. So as far as mounting goes, that is the way to go. So some of you guys are probably wondering, how many tires will this thing fill up? For a 10-pound tank. They have 5-pound tanks, 10-pound tanks, 20-pound tanks, steel, aluminum. Obviously aluminum is lighter than your steel tank would be, which is ideal, you know, trying to save on a little weight. I'm gonna post a link in the description. It's actually the Power Tank's website, and they list how many fill-ups you can get per size tank, how many psi. I think they show it in 15 psi increments. So let's say a tank could fill 20 tires at 15 psi increments, so you could air up from 15 to 30, you know, 20 times, and that would be good. And of course, anybody who thinks that maybe it would suck to get this refilled, I think at $23 and they come to me and replace the tank for me, is definitely worth the money, versus waiting on a compressor to air you up. Now, I will always keep the other ARB compressor in there as a backup, because you just never know. I mean, what if I don't realize that how low this is, I run out, I need to have a way to air up. So I'll keep that on there for that, or just, you know, other things. You can also run air tools off this, because you're actually getting a constant 150 psi. With the ARB, you turn it on, it fills the tank, you get a good few seconds of a good burst, you know, and then the tank runs out, and then it's all the produced air from the ARB compressor itself, which is pretty lackluster. And but yeah, you can run air tools off this, hook an air nozzle to it, blow dirt, dust out of wherever. It's just very, very versatile having this tank, and I definitely regret not having it sooner before the compressor, but it's good that I have the compressor. I had a front locker or something like that. I'll already have onboard air to set that up, and like I said, also a solid backup, because you just never know. You just never know when you're going to need to resort to something else. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope this video is beneficial to you. It's kind of the goal of this channel, to provide some useful information that can help you guys make a decision on a product, or a decision on how to go about something for your off-road adventures. So I really appreciate you like and subscribe, share it with your friends, you know, and if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me in the comments, and I will get to them as soon as I see them, because sometimes I'm pretty bad about checking that. Thank you.